Hey guys, thanks for coming back. I got something really special I want to share with you guys. One of my uncles who is also into trains. I've pretty much all my uncles on my mom's side were into trains, but this one, he had a bunch of Lionel stuff that he no longer needed, that he was running in his office and in his house. So he gave what he had to me, and it's awesome. And I thanked him so much for that. And these are definitely going to be very special additions to my collection because he gave them to me. So, what we got as far as a locomotive goes is we got this guy here. So you might recognize him as the 2055 Hudson type, or the 665, I think was the other number for this. But this guy's clearly been repainted. The numbers are gone on both sides. You can't see. And if you could see him really good in the camera, you could tell he's had a touch-up on the shell, let's say. But it doesn't matter. I don't care. I love it. It came from a family member, so it means even more to me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to throw this guy on the track, and we're going to see how he runs, because I trust that my uncle took really good care of these. He may not have had much time recently to do that, but I'm not worried about any shorts or bad electrical connections or anything like that. So I feel really safe about putting this guy right on the track and just kind of seeing what kind of running condition he's in right away. Now, the other piece that I got going along with this locomotive was this tender here. Now, this tender is clearly part of the modern era of Lionel stuff, because underneath, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a switch there, and it says train sounds on and off. Now, none of my other tenders have that. They're all Postwar stuff. They're the old whistle bodies in there, and I love every single one of them. But I think that's kind of neat to have this, and I know that my kiddo is going to really love this if it actually works. I mean, I'm not sure if this modern era stuff is going to work with my old post-war transformer over here, the old KW, but we're going to fire them up, and we're going to see what we got with these. So let's have a bit of fun with them, eh? All right, so we have our inherited locomotive, I guess that's a good way to put it, on the tracks, ready to go. We got them hooked up to the KW transformer, and we're going to see just what we got here as far as a runner goes, and let's see if we can get this tender to make any sounds. Let's get some power. Well, I hear the tender. Yeah, those are definitely some rail sounds. And let's see what the operation of the train is like. Well, we got reverse, we got neutral, so the E unit's working. So, as you can hear, we got a bit of an issue with some lubrication in there. I know he's been sitting for a while, so we're going to take that shell off. We're going to have a look at the bearing plate that's the armature and the commutator runs through, because that is the first thing we check when we hear that almost zipper type noise. So other than that, he seems to run really fine. We're getting the rail sounds out of this tender, which is kind of neat. I think that's great. So I'm going to take this guy over to the bench, get that shell off, have a look at the guts there, and then we'll kind of go from there. But at least we've got a working E unit, we do have a working locomotive, and we have a tender that makes some really cool sound effects. So let's get that shell off. All right, so we have our Hudson type locomotive on the bench right now, and just to show you a close up here, you can see the numbers are completely gone on this, so it could be a 2055 or the 665. But what's really neat is I actually, in my spare parts box, I have the boiler plate with the big cylinder on the top here that I could actually put on and just change up his style a little bit, because I already do have the 2055, as you've seen in the other videos, and I can attach a link to some of those other videos with that one up in the top corner. But first of all, let's get this shell off. Let's see what we're dealing with. So I need a flathead screwdriver. Still got all of his screws intact. That's a good sign. So let's start taking him apart. And I've got my magnetic tray all ready to go here. And already by looking at this, the undercarriage here, I don't think we're dealing with too much of a problem. He looks to be in pretty decent shape. So we are going to take these out. Now I can lift the shell off. Unhook it from the back, and there we go. Okay, so we got a little bit of corrosion here. It's not too bad. I've seen much, much worse, that's for sure. And that's just wiping off, so I'm not concerned about that too much. But we are going to take that plate off, and we're going to clean off the armature. But yeah, she's bone dry. I could see all the gears are totally, totally dry. So that's where that sound is coming from. So what I'm going to do, for those of you that have watched the channel before, you know about my little trick about putting a bearing plate and letting it soak in oil. Well, this particular one has been sitting in here for months, quite a few months, just because I haven't needed to take it out. The others, oh boy, that's tight. The other locomotives that have the similar bearing plate, they're well lubricated, so I haven't had to soak their plates in this oil. And for those of you guys wondering that haven't seen this little video, I can post that up in the corner somewhere. For those of you that haven't seen the video, that oil is just regular, I think it's 10W30 or 5W30 or something. It's nothing special, it's just regular automotive oil. This plate hasn't been off in a while. And yeah, there's a little bit of metal dust in there. No big deal. We'll just wipe that off. We're going to clean off around the old gears here a little bit. And while everything is exposed, we're just going to hit it with some grease. Put this guy right in here right away. So we've got that plate. He's going to soak in oil for however long I forget about him, to tell you the truth. And let's put some new grease onto these gears here. So I just use bearing grease that I got from an automotive store here in Canada. You guys are very familiar with Canadian Tire. Let's get this on camera. You guys are very familiar with Canadian Tire, and that's where this came from. So we're just going to put that on. We can give the wheels a bit of a spin once we get the bearing plate back on to kind of work it around, and I'll put a little bit more on. The axles don't look too bad. I can shoot some oil in on them. We got the well-marinated bearing plate. We are going to drop him back on, and I know this plate is going to fit because I have already changed it between a 2018 and a 2055, and this being a 2055, I know it is going to fit. See, a little bit of a twist, and that's it. That's all they need. I'm going to work that grease around a little bit. Everything is looking good here. I'm going to get some oil. I'm going to shoot that onto those axles. And boom. All right. We're good. Spin that around again. You can't see it on the camera, but I can feel it while I'm turning this by hand that this is already really loosening everything up. Okay. So before I get to cleaning off that armature, I am going to give these wheels a little bit of a rub down with the 3M pad. Let's get this plate off and have a look at the armature. Oh yeah, they're dirty. Those brushes are still nice and long though, that's great. not really that bad. I mean, the obvious carbon is there, which is to be expected, but not bad at all. I have had way worse than this. So we'll just kind of gently move that out of the way. See, just a little bit of scrubbing already brings him around. Now this particular armature, he is really worn. There's a groove in this one. So this guy has seen some serious track time and is still in excellent shape, and that's beautiful to me. That means he has been well maintained. And just a little bit of wipe just gets that carbon off quick. Okay, I don't have my little toothpick cleaner here, but that's no big deal. We can do this another way. I'm just going to give ourselves a little piece of cardboard, like so. And I'm just going to kind of cut it to give it a little bit of a point. This is kind of what the tip of my little plastic toothpick things look like, and that's all I need to get in there and clean out and knock out any carbon that's sitting in these grooves here. Quick shot on the Q-tip. That's all it needs. And just work that into the brush holder. Pull out any of that carbon. Springs are in good shape too. I can get just a little bit of oil, a little drop, and I can do that. I'll just take some out of this bath here on my little piece of cardboard and just dab it onto that shaft. That'll be plenty. Put this back on, tighten her down, and we will be good to go. So now that there's still some contact cleaner on here, I'm just going to wipe off this little oxidization or corrosion or whatever that is. And whatever it is coming off immediately, so it's not that bad. Now we're going to have a look at this smoke unit here. It's pretty clean. This looks new. This looks like it was replaced. Here's the ground. Solder joints are all decent still. I wonder if he'll actually work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the smoke juice down in there and see what we got going on. There we go, all back together. Everything's running smooth, nothing's in the way. Let's just wipe off some of this dust with this oily rag. Get some of the dust off of them. There we go. I am going to get the oil for the smoke unit. And this is what I use. I use the Bachmann's smoke fluid. And I just put in this many drops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11 looks good. I think that'll be perfect. And let's get them back on the track. Okay, so we have the 2055665. We're not sure which locomotive this one is. Back on the track, hooked back up to the tender. We're lubricated. We got lubrication on the wheels. We got lubrication on the bearing plate. The armature has been cleaned. All of that stuff is good. We've got smoke in the smoking unit. And let's see what we get now. Whoa! So as you can see, he runs perfectly fine. Let's make sure we got this E unit. Come on, there we go. There's the E unit. And really quiet as well. I mean, some of them really buzz. Not this guy. Still haven't seen the smoke unit kick in, although he hasn't run around enough to get that heated up. And it's possible it doesn't work, but that is okay. So, as you notice though, all of that lubrication, a little bit of cleaning, we got rid of that lousy zipper sound, so we know that he's running free and everything's properly lubricated. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the rest of the cars that came with this guy that my uncle gave me and set him up properly. So let's get to that right now.